All right, friends. Well, remember my beautiful dealership clock that I just got? I think I have everything now to attempt to put it back together. It's going to be kind of a trick because of the way that it is, and I'll explain that as we get to it. And we'll get started on that right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. In the last episode of this, we talked about this dealership clock, and I showed how I got it. And since then, I have done my homework. I did end up touching up the black that was missing on the face in places, and it turned out pretty good. However, it decided for whatever reason to leach down into this crack and run. So there's a little bit of a spot there, but when you light it up, it's not gonna be too bad. It's much more solid now than it was. If I hold it up to the light, you can actually get an idea of what it's gonna look like, hopefully. So this was very fragile because of the cracking everywhere, but I've got it pretty solid. That being said, I don't know where else to talk about. I'll probably jump around a lot. When we get to the point of mounting that, we're going to test fit that piece in. I'm not happy with the amount of meat that's left, so like I said, I am going to glue studs into the plastic. I cut the heads off of some little machine bolts that I think I can thread down in there and glue in tight, and then they will stick through the holes in this piece here, and then I'll just tighten them with nuts on there, and then that way you don't have to disturb the plastic if you have to take it apart again. That being said, I also do not trust them fully as being the only thing to hold it. So I came up with another solution. Because I was missing a screw at the bottom, I'm going to put machine bolts in the top one and in the bottom. And then I made little, out of just flashing, I'm going to put a brace that bolts from in there to a couple holes in this piece and then bolt them down. And then hopefully that gives it just a little bit extra support where it's going to hold this. Because this actually, and I didn't really necessarily realize that until looking at somebody else's, but this one is supposed to have glass in here too. So that was another struggle, and I got a new piece of glass for the other clocks, and I'm hoping that it fits. We'll test it here in a minute. I got this all cleaned up and got the motor mounted in here, and I gave it a test run with the second hand on there so you can see it going around. So that's much better than it was. But the name of the game right now is going to be test fitting everything first. And then once I am satisfied that it's going to go together the way I want, then we will put her together for final assembly, which is going to be a trick because of that. If I want to add those extra braces, I'm going to have to have the glass on, which means I'll have to have this piece on, which means then I put the bolts in last, which could be kind of a juggle of stuff, but I'm hoping that the two screws on the outside, and then there's actually one on the bottom still, would be enough to hold the glass in place. We're going to have to also test fit, which I might do now. I want to make sure that this bushing fits through that hole without putting pressure on it. So that's what I'm going to do right now. All right, it should go like that when we're done, and the bushing is still a good ways away. So even if it did, it would fit through that hole if it had to, but it won't because of the way this is made. So that was test fit number one. I guess also while I'm talking about this, I got the new light sockets. They're made different. They're riveted on with this 90-degree piece. So I think I'm just going to drill a hole through them and bolt them to the original hole. They'll be out just a shade farther, but they'll be the same distance this way. Not that any of that really matters, but it just seems like that would be an easier thing than trying to do it like this. You know, maybe I'm wrong on that, but I'm just thinking like, put it right like that, see? I don't know. Who knows? I'm not too smart, so I think what I'm going to do next, despite my best judgment here, I'm going to take this ring loose and I'm going to try the glass and see that the glass fits this. So if the glass does not fit this, then we have another hurdle, which is, what do we do? Because, yeah, I mean, we may just have to run it without glass, is what I'm saying. I gotta also be very careful not to lose anything, and be very careful because I don't want pieces of this clock to be falling off. This is very fragile. It's a shame that it's so busted up, but it's no wonder. I mean, most of them probably ended up in the trash for this reason right here. Okay, so this is also testing our theory of I missed a crack when I glued it up the other day, I guess. Or I didn't go far enough. That's fine, we'll go far enough today because we have to be in that area. Oh, there's bugs. Dead bugs in the bottom. Gently, gently, gently is the name of the game here. He says as he pounds it into submission. Alright, dead bugs. I'm sure they'll end up in the new one too. Carefully, carefully. We're going to unwrap this. Uh-oh. I don't think it's going to go. I might be wrong. It might go, and I just can't do it the way I was going to do it. Ooh, now, I'm afraid that I'm out of luck on this glass because I think it's too big. Alright, so if I were to do it like this, nope, not even close. So that's a fail. We need to carefully put this away for a future clock. We don't know yet. And we're going to just go glassless. That's kind of depressing, but I don't know what else to say for now. Whilst we have the trim ring loose, this actually solved one of my major issues of assembling, because now I can go ahead and put it together much easier. But it's not going to be original until I get the glass. Alright. Well, dum-dum. Do it this way. If I measure there, I'm at 13 7/8 to 14. 13 7/8 to 14 would be the target range, and I will have to look up and see if they even make clock glass in that dimension. Well, unfortunately, the place that showed it was out. So I'm going to have to wait till they either get it back in stock, or I'm going to have to just cry. But I'm guessing that 13 7/8 is probably the size I need. You know, a 14-inch piece is $27. 13 7/8. I mean, that would have been super affordable. Shoot. Well, we'll get it sometime. 13. Well, we will definitely revisit that part of this adventure. But I'm going to double check my measurements one more time. But I would call this, I don't know if I can get you in on it too. And then you can give me your opinion. But I would call that 13 7/8 as opposed to 14. 14 is kind of like still hanging on the outside of the edge. It could be either one though. It could be 14. It could be 13 7/8. I just don't know. If we put the trim ring back on, it would really amount to what it looks like the trim ring would still hold in. So if I were to do that, I think the 14 inch would do it. 13 7/8 would do it too, probably. 14 would be outside to outside though, and I don't think that's what you want on a clock glass. I think you want it to be sitting on top of the face. So in that case, maybe I don't even want, maybe I want 13 3/4, you know? A lot of debating, but while I got it apart, I'm going to try to figure this out. 13 3/4 would just barely be captured. I bet it's supposed to be 13 3/4. So I may try to order that size glass and see. I mean, if it's only going to be like $20 or $30, I can probably deal with it if it's wrong. It's not like it takes a lot of room to store. All you got to do is hit it with a hammer. It'll take up a lot less room to store. But because of this, I now can abandon my difficulty of reassembly this time. And we may end up bolting all four sides, or all the, four sides of it whenever we get the glass. That is just so brittle. You can just hear it when you go to put this on. Oh, we're gonna put a bolt in that one. So we're gonna do this. And then we are going to take this little bolt and put it through the top. Now, I really need to prop this up so I've got room for the shaft of the clock. But I also brought a towel because I don't want to scratch the face of this while I'm working on it. So, what if I were to use the duct tape that the viewer sent and then lay my towel over top of it? Then I can do this, which is the very delicate test fitting process. Now, why I say this is going to be kind of difficult, I actually need to, I'm going to have to use this as a guide of where I can put my studs so that I don't go too far one way or the other. I should have done this before the clock motor was in, but it's very difficult to get that in and out. So, and I also should have done, I made a mistake here that I'm going to have to very carefully correct. But this is what I'm envisioning. If you can see what's happening. See, this one's already gone, like it's already missing the. So what's the guy do there? Try to find the next size down. I'm not convinced that that's going to work. Let me go find the next size smaller. Oh, friends, this just is not exactly what I envisioned. It's still going to work, but I got the wrong size the first time. That is going to stay in there. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's going to do what I want there. So, in order to make this go, I got to really do some head scratching on this subject. I think that I went too much with this. I need to just not worry about. I'll figure it out. That's what I'm saying. Alright. So I need to cut the heads off of these little bolts now, which should not be a big deal because I have a wire cutter that actually has the bolt cutting feature. And it's as easy as that. Then I have the factory made end still kept intact. Alright. Thanks, Hobo Freight, for these disposable wire pliers. Will that go in there? I think it will. Alright. Let's do a test fit. I like how that feels in there. That is much solid. And then if I take this and I gently push this down on there, it's going to go right where it needs to go. It's riding a little high, but I think that's the way it's going to be. Boy, is this delicate. That's why it was riding high, because it wasn't in the right spot. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is really sad. I don't know if it's gonna work. Well, all we can do now is just full send it and hope that it all works out for the best. Very, very stressful work when you're dealing with an irreplaceable object. But this is life. I'm going to drill some holes whilst my glue is getting warm. And I'm going to try to have this ready where my extra little support braces are ready to roll. Although I may not have any good drill bits, you know. I noticed that the set that I brought in is not very good. Alright. I need to make sure that this will go over there, and it will. And we need to do the same thing in the other one. At the very end, we'll have to I mean, this is the rough draft. If this doesn't work, I'm going to have to, like, what am I going to have to do? Well, I'm going to have to make like an inner support ring or something. This ain't going to work very good. Yeah. Okay. That will work. Okay. Tedious. I may not want to put the glass on. It may make it too heavy and come crashing to its death. Although the hands would stop it, I think, from flying all the way to the floor, but oh, sadness. It's becoming very obvious why this person decided to part with this clock. Because he knew its days were numbered. Still a little. It's not ready. Let it heat up a little more. I want it to be totally liquid so it'll flow down in there. Good. Where it's going. Slide it in there right quick. It's coming along. It's just very, very nerve-wracking because, I mean, we make one wrong move and it's lights out for this. Okay. We're going to let that cook a little bit. I've got more homework to do here. So I'm trying to make my little brace bolts. I'm not sure that I got the right size drill bit in the house. That's no good. Alright, that's good to go. Now I'm supposing while we're waiting, we're going to mount these light fixtures on here. I mean, I'm kind of nervous about trying to put glass on this clock because I'm afraid it's going to make it too heavy and pull the plastic loose off the face. I might just have to be content with as it is, you know. Alright. Now if a guy was smarter than me, see, I've already bent that because I'm an idiot. Alright, come on. If a guy is smarter than me, he doesn't want to rest anything on that clock motor. He wants to how could Ross do this? Okay, gently. Gently, he's going to do this in a way that's not going to destroy everything. Because he didn't get any spare parts. Good. Alright, stop. Drop and roll. That's what we're after here. Alright. Now I need to find some small bolts again that will go through there, because those will not. The ones I picked out are not small enough. So I'll go do that. Alright, are you bored yet? Watching an idiot work on clocks? You probably don't have time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Alright, I think we're ready for the test fire. Hopefully it is not an actual fire. But we're ready to join the two into one. I just want to test out that this works. The second hand should go around and the bulb should light up. And there she goes. And I don't get electrocuted touching anything. Good deal. So now, since we don't have glass, it's actually going to be maybe slightly easier, because I don't have to put the hands on until the very last. Whereas if I had the glass, I'd have to put the hands on, join it together, put the glass on, and be doing that all at the same time. So, yeah. We're going to try it. I mean, we might fail miserably at this, but we got to do something. It's no good as just a pile of parts on the floor. So, I'll bring you back in a minute after I accomplish this or don't. Alright, let's take a quick tour of what I've done. We put studs in the plastic to hold the brace in. Then I mounted these two little, which I'm missing a nut for that one. I'm going to have to get one. But there you can see what I've done. I made a little brace that went from the outside rim of this, which I think is more solid, up to the back piece. And now I think that this will hang from there as such. Unfortunately, we did not get the right glass, so that is going to be tabled. And I may decide just not to do that, because I don't want to add any extra weight to this. However, it's supposed to have it, and that's going to bother me. But I may order some of that 13 size glass that I decided on. Whatever it was, 13 3/4 maybe. So the only thing left now is to very gingerly put these hands on. Okay, now we need to, as always, need to make sure our hands are not going to interfere with one another. Alright, the GoPro battery died, so I switched that. We are ready for the inaugural run of this thing. I'm going to turn out the lights so that we get the full effect. Ah, that looks pretty snazzy, I have to say. Yeah. The only thing is we don't have glass, and that's kind of a bummer, but it's just the way it is. Like I said, I don't know. maybe I don't want to put glass on it just because of the extra weight that will add. But I'm super pumped. Like I said, I've looked for one of these for years and years and years, and I never found one until now. And I'm looking at this go around, and the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking I'm probably not going to put glass on it, because I'm going to have to you got to get very fine with these hands when you do that, or it will rub the glass. I don't know. I mean, I'll see what I come up with, but right now I think I'm just going to kind of enjoy it as it is. I may lay it down and touch up a few more little places. But otherwise, I think we got something, friends. We got a good clock motor that should keep time just fine. And yeah, I don't know what else there is to say other than just admiring it. What I have accomplished here, I hope. You know. So anyway, I guess we'll call this one a success here. As always, if you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. Leave a comment. That stuff doesn't cost you anything. It's supposed to help me out. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.